Hello, everybody. Good to see you again. I know it's been a little bit of a wait. Unfortunately, I've been sick, and we had a holiday here in the States as well. Currently, it's Tuesday night, 9:06 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so it may be morning by the time you're watching this. And I'm just going to give you a quick update on what's been going on. I'm out here in a hotel. I'm in Tallahassee, Florida, playing a concert here in a couple days, and not feeling the best. Not feeling myself during this pretty rough cold. But I still wanted to give you guys an update on what's going on this week and how things are going. It's been a really good week for me, so let's get right into it. And hopefully you guys can learn something. Like I said, that I basically tell you everything of how my strategy works, what I'm looking for, what my entry points are. So keep in mind that maybe you can learn something from this, either modify your strategy or give you some hints into a profitable edge, something like that. So let's get into what happened this week. Now this probably looks a little crazy. I know that when people have watched my videos in the past, they see this kind of thing. They see 10 trades closing out at one area, right? And they think, oh, that's the worst type of trade system in the world because you're just betting against a losing trade by adding to the position. Yeah, actually, in some cases, this wasn't a good setup. But how do we know when something like this is going to happen? When we get stuck in a trade? Because if we're looking at the trade setup, okay, let's try to not avoid looking at what happened here in this area, right? Just like we never knew when that dip was going to happen. So if we scroll back a little bit, we'll see that yes, it's been in a downtrend, right? It's been making new lows, but if we look at this area right in here, we see that that's a nice support level. We also see that it was hit again at the same level. So there was a really good potential for this for the pound CAD to bounce at this point, and also you can see that there was a nice 1.73 level there too, or it was actually 1.74. So 1.74 was right in this area, so really good chance for a bounce, and it didn't happen. So what did happen instead? We had a huge 190 pip fall. All right, so there's no way I would have been able to know that that was happening, and it actually wasn't caused by what a lot of people say is technical analysis. So why would you buy into the market right here when this isn't a downtrend if you go on the higher time frame? Now, some people may think I'm crazy for doing that, but the reason why is because the longer this moves down in a downward trend, so you can see from the peak here, it's been moving down for quite a while. The longer it moves down, the more prone I am to buying into the market, because what happens is people sell, and then they all eventually get out, and until pretty much, if it keeps going on for a long period of time, everybody's pretty much out, and then people start buying into the pair at some point, and so the market is more prone to taking a pullback or a bounce. Now, it doesn't mean that it's a complete trend change. Now, what I'm talking about is something like here, something like here, and maybe even here. This little pullback in this area, this one, that I'll talk about in just a second. But those are the pullbacks I'm looking for, is when people jump in, they ride the trend down, everybody gets out, and then we have a bounce at that level. I'm looking for that pullback, and I find that those kind of pullbacks are easier to spot than trying to find a good place to enter on the trend. And the reason why is because we don't know how far that trend's going to go for, and especially since a lot of times a trending pair moves in a trending direction and continues to move in a trending direction because of either political or fundamental analysis. The technical side in trading, I feel like, can only give us so much. Technical trading gives us hints into what may happen, and also what has happened already. What may happen in the future, where traders may exit their positions, where traders may enter the market. But the thing is that fundamental analysis and also political, I guess you could call them both the same type of thing, but they are what drive the price. People are trying to figure out what improves, what news statements improve living conditions, for example, in the U.S. And if a news statement comes out that potentially improves living conditions in the U.S., then there's a good chance that the U.S. dollar may gain in value. That's not always the case because the market can throw us curveballs, and just because positive news comes out doesn't necessarily mean that people are buying into the U.S. Increasing its living conditions for individuals or for residents. Because there might be some overlying things that are haunting the dollar gaining in value. So it's this kind of stuff that you have to weigh in on. I remember what happened where a bunch of traders bought the US dollar after NFP because the NFP numbers were really good, but the US dollar actually ended up falling that day, and a lot of traders ended up losing money. Now that's one of the curveballs that I'm talking about, where just because the no farm payroll numbers were up doesn't necessarily mean you just go ahead and buy the U.S. dollar blindly. You got to figure out the underlying factors. Is the NFP the most important thing that people are looking at? Are they watching? Are investors or traders looking for something else that the U.S. dollar needs in order to increase its value? And honestly, people weren't looking at that. There was another news statement that came out that day that was taking more precedence over the NFP, and it was something I can't remember. It was such a long time ago, but it was something to do with earnings, and it was one of the lowest it had been in 5 or 10 years. And so that is what caused the U.S. dollar to struggle that day. So it's kind of those things. You have to watch every single I guess facet or asset of these the pairs that you're trading, so you know everything that's going on internally and externally. Okay, so I know that's kind of a long, I guess, lecture there, but let's get into some of the trades here. I'd mentioned about this potentially bouncing, but it didn't quite bounce there. It actually fell 190 pips. I entered on grid here hoping that it would bounce at some point and trying to capture the least amount of pullback. That's why I entered on such a tight grid at lower risk. Now you guys may think this is crazy for entering where I did and holding on to a losing position for 190 pips. And sometimes we can't control that. Like I said, I didn't know that this was going to fall because of the election news and scares coming out of the UK right now, where there's election day is coming soon, and the polls are coming in and kind of freaking people out. This is what happened on Friday. It's a huge fall, and didn't know that was going to happen. Again, a political event that sometimes we can't control. So in that case, I knew that this was normal behavior, that this didn't fall in a matter of seconds or minutes. It fell over the course of the day, and that's normal behavior on the pound CAD. And so I actually wasn't worried. And this whole basket here of 10 trades was only 5% drawdown. I also had 4 trades in on the Euro Pound as well, and those were helping the drawdown as well once things started moving to my favor. And I'll get into how that whole thing took place. So I'm actually trading a friend's account as well, $45,000, and I told him, because he was getting a little bit worried because this is the higher drawdown that we've had in a while, which is 5%, whoop-de-doo. But I told him that 1.72 was a really good chance. We had a really good chance for a reversal at that point. And you might ask why. Why did I say that set 172 was a decent level for bounce? And you'll see later on that it actually did bounce significantly. So we had the inside candle set up here. All right, it fell, it made new lows. We had another inside candle set up here. We had another one. We had a nice reversal candle here. I think, now this is not quite an inside candle set up here, so we'll exit that out. This was a decent reversal candle at this point. And then we had another inside candle set up here. So the reason why I said 172 was a good level is because this big push had already happened. And it pushed through all the levels. There were lots of areas where it could have easily bounced, and it was looking for a reversal, and it couldn't find that. It couldn't find that support. And so I found out that once this was all done, and it was already late in the day on Friday, and then we had that inside candle set up right before closing, that's when I was thinking, all right, since the big initial push is done, we're right near a whole number at 1.72. We have an inside candle set up. This is a good potential place for a bounce, especially when the new week opens. And that's what happened. So if we scroll out, you'll see that bounce right at 172. And I thought that this was going to be limited, so up to about 1.73, and then the trend on the downside would continue. While I was a bit wrong on that, the 173 level was just right about here. It did bounce quite a few times on it. And I thought it might continue back down at this point, and it did not. It actually continued back up. And so when did I find out that this wasn't going to shoot down at this point? Now, I actually I had a pretty good idea that this wasn't going to push down. And the reason why is looking at the candlesticks again. So I hope you guys are watching this, because maybe you can learn something here, because the candlesticks do show us a lot on what's going to happen. Okay, so we have this swings, right? Swing level, and then it broke. The swing level broke here, right? So I knew that there was chance for a reversal at the 173 level, which was pretty close to this this resistance here, and it made resistance near the 1.73, bounced down to the half number, and we actually got almost got an inside candle set up there, but we did get one here, and it did bounce at that point, and it made a resistance at that same level again. All right, so at this point, when it started turning it back around, I was thinking, oh, this could continue down from that point on. And then I saw this. This was a special candle. Now I'm going to zoom in on this candle. Right there. And you can see that that was when I thought or had a pretty good idea that there was a good chance that this would bounce right on the same support level again, and we'd shoot up. And if it did, we'd at least test this level up here again, the 173. But in my luck, it actually broke past it. Now I do have proof that I mentioned to my friend that this, right after that I saw this candle, that I said, okay, I'm wrong about the push back down. I think that there's really good potential that we're going to see another bounce here right at 1.72503. I kind of want to show you if I can find the message. Okay, I think this is it. We have a good chance of a bounce here at, let me delete that. We have a good chance for a bounce here at 172.5, considering the current price action, looking at a retest of 73. That was at 9:30. Now this candle happened at closed at 9:30. So right at this point, at my broker. So right when this candle opened. That's when this candle closed, that's when I was like, yeah, that's a good chance. Now, it showed me a lot, and I'm going to talk about this candle real fast. It's because we see the wick, right? It's a bullish candle, and it's similar to the candles that I've talked about before, of how the body of it is pretty strong, and it closed above the open of the previous candle. This shows that the push down has slowed down, and we have a good support for a bounce on the upward side, because that push down has abruptly ended in many ways. So it could easily, bounced up a little bit and shot back down, but it actually kind of it went along with this in a big way. So we're just about to hit profit again, by the way, guys. And so this is kind of cool because I don't usually get to show you profit being taken on a video. I'm looking for about $110, $115 roughly. So we'll see if it hits in this video. And I'll describe to you what I'm looking for, hopefully before those close out. But this is kind of important because it shows you how to read the candlesticks in a way that give you enough hints on where price may go according to technical analysis. Now, I'm also looking at the news, and the news was giving me the idea, or the fundamental news and the political news, that the scene in the UK is still pretty rough, considering that they're coming up with election. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. So that's why I was thinking that the reversal or the pullback was only limited to the 73 level, and then the push back down I expected to continue. And that it didn't quite do that exactly how I thought it would, and because we had some technical hints that the push was not quite over yet, and that the push up or the pullback up may extend, and it did. Okay, so we wrote the top up here, and I'm going to talk about those real quickly. So some of these were manual trades and some were algorithm trades, and so we're going to go over the manual trade. So the manual is the inside candle set up here. So I'm looking at this candle. This is a kind of a bullish candle showing us that this might be going on the upside. But the reason why this isn't a great positioning for this candle is because it's already up at the peak here. Now this has been kind of a small pullback or swing area. And let me give this a better, there we go. So we're in a tight range here. And I was looking at this level, the 173.27 or 173.3. And looking for a reversal there, and the reason why is because this level, there was some resistance here, and I was seeing it with the candlesticks, especially with the wicks, and I was also with this candle here, and then when this one came showing me that there was potential for a reversal or a small pullback, then I entered. I entered looking for about 10 pips, so it was a very small kind of scalping-like trade, and didn't quite get that great entry that I was looking for. It ended up shooting back up. You can see the candle here on the 5-minute chart. This one, unfortunately, kind of when it closed out, gave us a good indication that this could extend further. So what do? I don't close it out. I actually look for another opportunity to enter on the 5-minute chart. Now I'll go to the smaller time frame, look at the candlesticks, try to see where a good re-entry is. And I saw this candle, so this one here, and this one. Nothing really interesting, but it shows me that it's a bearish candle, right? It does have a wick. This candle, next one after it, yeah, bullish candle, but it also has a bit of a wick. And then the third one. Now this third candle, a wick as well. And the body is also very strong of a closing in the bearish direction. And the body actually closes below the opening of the previous candle. This shows to me that again, this initial push may be slowing up this peak. This could be a resistance point because of the multiple hints, in particular this main hint here, and then I entered on the second position. As you can see, we did see the candlesticks after were showing that this area up here did have some resistance, and this candle kind of reaffirmed that because it hit that same level again, and then it closed bearish, even below the opening of the previous candle. And then we had a bunch of other wick candles that happened after, a bit of a push more down, and then it shot up again and past that level. And then it found support up here at the top. The thing is that I didn't actually enter a third position. I didn't see any good hints up here to take a third entry, and so I held out. So these two entries, entry 1 and entry 2, those were manual trades, and entry 3 and entry 4, those were algorithm trades. Now I'll show you those trades now, so you don't get confused. Now these algorithm trades were taken right after the inside candle setup here. Sorry, that's not quite right. Inside candle setup here. So entry here, first entry on the algorithm, and second entry on the algorithm. Now there's a 20 pips difference between these two trades, and they both took profit in this area. Okay, ended up coming out with 50 pips profit in this particular trade, and ended up coming out with a bit less on the manual trades. Now what does that look like? So since I closed out the manual trades a bit earlier, I only came out with about $26 profit there. And then the algorithm came out with 113. Now it was supposed to come out with 115, but you know we can't always be perfect with the exits because of the small amount of slippage. Okay, so those trades worked out very well. As you can see, I'm doing both manual and algorithm trading. Depends on the action, the time that I have during the day. All right, so we are currently in two trades. Oh, actually, I should mention to you about my profit this week. We've had a really good week of trading. It's right now, just yesterday, I had $566. You probably are wondering what happened here. Well, this was kind of a fluke. I'm not sure if I mentioned it already. But I was supposed to take about $115 profit here, and there was a delay in my EA closing. And I hope this doesn't happen all the time, but since this was kind of a fluke, I'm going to take it and roll with it. So I ended up coming out with 4 times more profit on this trade. And not great, but I'll take it this time. If it happens again, I'll be concerned, even if it's on the profitable side, because it just as likely can be an error on the negative side or a delay in close. So it could be a combination of the broker, it could be a combination of trying to close out, 10 trades at the same time. But this kind of behavior is normal, and this kind of pullback is also normal, and that's why I didn't freak out during this whole entire basket. I was calm, collected, and waited it out, and got hints with the price action, with the candlesticks, to kind of ease my mind, knowing where price may go, where it may stop, where it may continue, and that helps a lot. So currently we're in 2 positions, and I'll talk about those in just a second. I wanted to show you the current profit that we're in now. So this is 5.18% on this $27,255 account. This week we're at 2.53% with a $671 profit, which is considerably really good, but as you know, it wasn't supposed to be quite this high because of the fluke on the $426 gain. So this week we'd probably roughly be at about 1 to 1.5% profit, but right now we're sitting on 2.5. Okay, so right now we have two positions. We're on the 5-minute time frame, but I need to show you that the 30, because these are actually algorithm trades. So for trade 1 was taken right after this inside candle setup here, and I entered with a spread gap, obviously, and then it went down a bit further. We entered down here on the second position. Let me scroll down to the 15-minute time frame so you can see this better. Trade 1, push down. Trade 2, push up, and push back down, push back up. So we're kind of in this small range right now. And we're sitting on $44 profit. We got really close to taking our profit amount. We also have a trade in on the euro pound as well. And we're actually closing out all of our trades based on those two pairs. So when a specific profit amount is met, in my case $115, then all trades will close out no matter the pair. That's kind of my money management, I guess, edge with these two pairs. The reason why is because if you scroll back and you go back to where I showed you these amazing amount of trades here on the pound CAD. You know that this is a 190 push down, and during this push, I was actually taking positions on the Euro pound as well. So I was getting into drawdown on 4 trades on the Euro pound. So 14 trades in drawdown. A lot of traders might find that to be a bit reckless. In my case, not so much, because I still was only in 5% drawdown with these trades here, and including these ones as well. So I wasn't stressing out. I knew I was in drawdown, but I also knew that this is normal behavior. I've done a lot of testing. I understand what takes place, and I understand these pairs very well, which you should understand your pairs well too. So what happened is these trades closed out a bit early, $105, because of another EA error. Now, you guys might be thinking, why are you using EAs if they're always having errors? Now, this one was actually an EA error, because the one that I showed you on the pound CAD that gave me $426, that could very likely be a broker error. I'm really doubting that's an EA error. It's probably likely some kind of slippage. But this one was an EA error. It's one I've been dealing with for some time now. And if I go to my EA here in my account, you can see that I'm running the EA on the VPS server. Now this is my close EA. I have an EA that closes everything in profit once profit is met. And it shows me all the stats here. So this EA will close all my trades at a specific dollar amount. And I had that happening, or this was active at the time. But unfortunately, it was closing out buys and sells once they reached that specific dollar amount in profit, which was, in this case, $105. So I lost my hedge. I lost my hedge because what happens is once the pound CAD starts moving in my intended direction, then it's more than likely that the Euro pound is moving also in my intended direction. So what this causes me to do is close out my trades sooner and with less drawdown. So, and that's great. That's what I want. And it basically helps me. It does potentially extend my drawdown, but it also causes me to get out of trades earlier. And I'm all about getting out of trades earlier. The longer that I'm in the market, the more frantic and uneasy I get. So I want to be out of trades as early as possible, and this allows me to do that by writing a hedge, a specific hedge like this. All right, so I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, keep watching my videos. I'm going to talk more about this stuff in the future. So far this week we've done very well. The account total profit now is $1,255, and a monthly expectation of 17.34%. And we're looking good, and I'm looking to get to about roughly $25,000 profit in an 8 to 12 month period. So right now we're on our way, and I'm pretty happy with the performance so far. All right, guys, I think that's pretty much it for the update today. I hope you weren't bored to tears. I know that this has been a bit of a long video. Well, it's about 28 minutes. And I'm hoping to feel better next time, and let's see if these trades close out. So far looking pretty good. We're currently in profit. As you saw early in the stream, we were at $98 and it kind of went back down. That's okay, that's normal. I wait for my trades to take my intended profit, and I move on to the next opportunity. I don't cry over lost profit if it continues to move in that direction. That's not how I run the market. Or how I trade. I don't think that's really a healthy way to do it, to trade either, crying over lost profits or losses in general, because they will happen. All right, guys, and next video I plan to answer some questions. Actually, maybe I can do that right now. CV. So if hopefully you're still watching this after 30 minutes. I'm not familiar with MT4, and I would like to know if there is a free backtesting indicator for the platform. I want to be able to manually practice taking trades in and out as if they were in real time. But can I pause, fast forward, and such? Something like Forex Tester. You know, CB, I can give you some pointers on this. I don't think I'm going to do it in this video. I know you've probably been waiting a while. Actually, maybe I can tell you how to do one thing, and this could probably help you a little bit. But there are some pieces of software that you can use. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I have to use a Kleenex here. There are some pieces of software that you can use to help in the testing, manually testing. And I can get into that next stream, hopefully when I actually have a better internet as well. So stay tuned to that. But the thing that I can show you how to do is, I know this is my EA, but let's go ahead and start the backtesting in MetaTrader. Okay, so if you go in the backtesting, you can actually load up all your templates. So that this is my template, right? And you can see that the backtesting is still going. It's going a lot slower because I have an indicator attached to it. Let's change. Actually, it's not. It's kind of crashed my computer currently. So, in that case, oh wait, it's going now. Okay, so I was just about to end the stream because I didn't want you guys having to wait. But let's try that again. Let's load up a better template. All right. So this is just the standard template that's on most MT4 platforms. And what you can do is you can load up your indicators and the back tester, or in the tester. And if you don't know how to do that, watch my previous how to use the back tester, because I do go into pretty important detail on how to do that. And this way is not the best way of manually testing your strategy, but it's a way to do it. So you can look at in real time, well, somewhat real time, or in the previous data, what's happening. So let's say that you've taken this as an entry point. Once this candle closes, you're going to enter on the next candle after that. So let's unpause. Okay, so this is our entry. You say that, okay, that's where I'm going to enter my trade. I'm going to enter on the short side, and we're going to see how this plays out. Now it helps not to know what's going to happen in the future, because it may affect your judgment, right? So what you do is you speed it back up. Let's mark it as a sell position, and let's see how it does. Now I don't know what's going to happen here. I mean, this isn't really even a setup in my book either, but it allows you to see how trades would play out. And it does give you a better idea of how to appropriately, I guess, test your manual system. It also helps you know where to put stop losses and take profits as well. Okay, so that's one way to do it. But the only problem with this method is that you actually have to manually enter all your take profit and stop losses amounts and keep track of them on like a spreadsheet. You can do that. Say, all right, so I entered this trade at this specific time on GMT. On this specific day, I ended up taking 20 pips profit, and the next trade was a 50 pips loss. And you went in and out with that. But you can also, it helps you gather an idea of how your manual system will work, even including discretion. And that's the cool thing, is that it does include discretion as well, because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So that's one way to do it without buying any software. Now I can go over next time, purchase software. I think some of them are pretty expensive. They can be all the way up to $500. Some can be $100. And so I'll go over maybe a couple. If it's not next streams, I'll do it some point in recent soon, hopefully. Norbert's talking about here, if your score is good every 2 weeks, you can get 10K every 2 weeks. So after 3 months, you can manage 60K, and they don't have how much drawdown. They don't have rules about how much drawdown you can have. Now he's talking about the toptrader.com. And this is a prop firm, so it allows you, if you have good performance in trading, you can trade $10,000 of their money. So they'll give you an account up 10 grand, depending on how good your performance is. So if you're a good consistent trader, this may be a website to check out. They do. I don't believe that they offer a good opportunity for U.S. traders. Now they do have a few brokers that they allow you to trade with on their platform with, but the U.S. broker option is not that great, and I think it had like a 2-star rating on forexpeacearmy.com. I can go into that more in detail if you guys are interested in knowing more about this U.S. based broker. But this is a better opportunity for traders that are outside the U.S. for sure. And thank you, Norbert, for bringing this to my attention, and to also letting us know, and me know, that they don't just stop at 10 grand for giving you capital. It depends on your monthly performance and your stats, and how consistent you are, how much risk your trades are putting onto your account. So keep that in mind, but definitely check them out. Like I said, I do have a membership, but I don't have any affiliate connection with Top Trader, so don't say that I do. All right, guys, that's pretty much all I wanted to go over today. And right now we're sitting on $16.40 profit, and we're waiting to see what comes of our 3 trades. All right, so I probably won't give an update for the next day or two. Depending on how things are going, if I have profit coming in, then I'll talk about it. If I have trades that are lingering, that are in drawdown or waiting to come out, I don't find that to be very interesting unless you guys tell me otherwise. If you want me to talk about current heavy drawdown trades, like for example this type of basket, then I can talk about that. But a lot of traders, what happens if I show this kind of stuff and I show that I'm in drawdown, if I show that I'm in 5% drawdown or something like that, traders start to think that this is a crappy system. Why are you doing this? It doesn't make a lot of sense. But it makes more sense once they see that the trades are closed out. That's one reason why I do it. Now, let me know in the comments what you would like to see in my trading. If what I'm giving you is good enough, if you want to see more, what do you want to see? Because this is kind of a fun thing for all of us to do. I mean, I talk to you about how I trade. I like trading, and so far things are going well for me. But what can I do to help you in finding an edge? If you've already found one, what can I do to help improve that edge? Because there's just not enough profitable traders out there, and there needs to be more of us, honestly. All right, so I think that's it for this time, and I'll see you guys hopefully in the next couple days. Have a good one. Bye.